They found him chained in a backyard, standing in his own waste, every rib visible beneath matted fur like a xylophone carved from bone. This Pitbull once weighed 170 pounds. Now he was down to just 15 pounds, a walking skeleton barely able to stand. Tail tucked so tightly between his legs, it looked like it might never wag again. But here's what nobody expected. This wasn't just another heartbreaking rescue story. This was about a dog who never stopped believing in love, even when the people who inherited him treated him like trash. What happened when one man finally saw what everyone else refused to see will absolutely destroy you. This is Ceasar's story, and I promise you, by the end of this, you'll question everything you thought you knew about loyalty. Ceasar wasn't always the broken soul they found that day. For years, he lived like absolute royalty with his owner, Ethan, a kind elderly man who treated that massive 170-pound pit bull like his own son. Every single morning, walks through the neighborhood where Ceasar's muscular frame and gentle eyes turned heads. Every evening, Ethan's weathered hand resting on Ceasar's enormous blocky head while they watched TV together. Pure, unconditional love. The kind of bond that makes you believe the world isn't completely broken. Ceasar was powerful, intimidating to strangers, sure, but with Ethan, he was nothing but a giant teddy bear wrapped in muscle and loyalty. But then, one ordinary Tuesday morning, Ethan's heart gave out. Just like that. Gone. And Ceasar's entire world collapsed in an instant. When the lawyer read Ethan's will, the family learned he'd left his house and Ceasar to his relatives. The house they wanted immediately. Fought over it, actually. But Ceasar? The moment the lawyer mentioned the dog, you could see it in their faces. Disgust. Annoyance. One of them actually rolled her eyes. "We don't want that thing," someone muttered. See, they'd always resented how much Ethan loved that dog, how much time he spent with him instead of them. And now, stuck with this massive pit bull they never asked for, they made a choice that would haunt them. They chained Ceasar in the backyard, left him there, day after day after day. Sometimes they'd remember to throw him food, low-quality kibble, barely enough. Sometimes they'd fill his water bowl, but most days, they forgot. Completely forgot. And Ceasar, this 170-pound powerhouse who could have easily broken that chain, who could have jumped that fence, he stayed. Waited. Hoped. Because all he knew was love, and somewhere in his loyal, beautiful heart, he believed they loved him too. He believed they'd come around. Weeks passed. His ribs started showing, then his hip bones. His once shiny coat turned dull and matted. The chain rubbed his neck raw, leaving angry red marks on his skin. He could barely walk more than a few feet, just to the edge of where the chain allowed, circling the same patch of dirt over and over and over until it was packed hard as concrete. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed yet, I have to say I'm genuinely heartbroken. Stories like Ceasar's need to be heard, and your support means we can share more of them. Hit that subscribe button right now. These dogs deserve your voice. Now back to Ceasar. One of the neighbors, an older woman named Mrs. Patterson, watched this nightmare unfold from her kitchen window. Day after day, she saw that once magnificent dog shrinking, fading, dying slowly in that backyard. And finally, she couldn't take it anymore. She picked up the phone and called the police. When the police arrived with animal control and a local veterinarian, what they found made even the seasoned officers freeze. Ceasar was standing, barely, in the middle of that barren patch of dirt, surrounded by his own waste, because the chain didn't let him move far enough away. You could count every single rib, every vertebrae in his spine. His once powerful 170-pound frame had withered to maybe 15 pounds of bone, dehydration, and fading hope. His eyes, those deep, soulful brown eyes, were sunken, hollow, like someone had drained the light right out of them. But here's the thing that shattered everyone at the scene. When the vet approached, Ceasar's tail wagged. Just once. Weak, barely a flutter. But it moved. Even after everything, after weeks of starvation and neglect and abandonment, this dog still wanted to believe in human kindness. The vet, Dr. Sarah Chen, knelt down slowly, her hands shaking as she reached for the chain. "Hey, buddy," she whispered, her voice cracking. "You're safe now. I promise you're safe." The moment that chain came off, Ceasar collapsed. His legs just gave out entirely, like they'd been holding on by sheer willpower alone, and finally got permission to quit. Dr. Chen scooped up his skeletal frame. This dog, who should have weighed 50 pounds, felt like carrying a child, and rushed him to her clinic. For the next 3 days, Ceasar was on IV fluids, antibiotics, and round-the-clock monitoring. His organs were shutting down. His body was eating itself, trying to survive. Dr. Chen sat with him every night, one hand on his head, talking to him, telling him to fight. And slowly, painfully slowly, he started to stabilize. As she watched him sleep one night, hooked up to tubes and monitors, something clicked in her mind. She thought of Alex. Alex was a local guy, mid-40s, who dedicated his entire life to rescuing dogs that nobody else wanted. The broken ones, the traumatized ones, the ones shelters called unadoptable. He'd already taken 2 dogs from Dr. Chen before, both in terrible shape, and turned them into the happiest, healthiest animals you'd ever seen. If anyone could save Ceasar, it was Alex. She called him the next morning. "Hey, Alex, I've got someone here I think you need to meet. He's been through hell, but I can see it in his eyes. He's still got fight left. You interested?" 30 minutes later, Alex walked through those clinic doors. The moment Alex saw Ceasar lying on that veterinary bed, skeletal, tubes running from his legs, those sunken eyes opened. Despite everything, his tail thumped weakly. Once, twice. Alex's chest tightened. He knelt down, brought his face close, and whispered, "You and me, we're done with that old life. You're mine now." That afternoon, Alex carried him home. Week by week, Ceasar came back to life. Month 6, 170 pounds of pure muscle again. That pit bull left to die became a symbol of resilience, proof the right person can make you whole again. If this story touched your heart and you're still not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button right now. What would you have done if you were the neighbor who saved Ceasar? Tell me in the comments. And please hit that like button. It helps share these incredible stories.